It's me, the D-O-double-G. Welcome to the Eden Army Podcast with your host tonight, Pete Robert Tucci.
Thank you, Snoop D-O-double-G. He's right. My name is Pete Robertucci, and this is the Eden Army Podcast. Look, I am excited tonight, guys. We have a special guest. We didn't have much time to promote it, but it's certainly a fella that really helped me through this whole writing adventure that I've been doing. He's always pretty selfless with the advice he gives me. Anytime I need anything, he's always just, yeah, sure, whatever you need, we can do it. He drags me along to all these expos that an introvert doesn't like to go to, right? And he grabs me by the ear and he pulls my ass along, because this is the way it works. You need to do this. And I go, okay, Chris, you got it. You're the bearded wonder. I understand. I'm with you. I got it. I'll take anything I can get. So with that being said, my very good friend, Mr. Angery American, Chris Weatherman.
What is up,
brother?
Y'all?
Hey.
What is going? I'm just muting my phone here, making sure all my I's are dotted and T's are crossed, or however it goes. But I thought this was the Sawyer birthday edition.
It is.
This ain't about me. This ain't for me. This is
Russ. No, we're certainly going to get to Mr. Sawyer in due time. We got some special stuff for him, but we got to get through all this stupid BS news we got going on, and we got to, of course, address the people that spend a Friday night with us, because I don't look. If I was a young person, I wouldn't be spending Friday night with Pete Robertucci and listen to all his ranting and raving. That's for damn sure. So we got plenty of people over there on Kick, and it looks like people are populating inside of the other traditional platforms. For those of you that don't know, we primarily stream on a platform called kick.com. A little more laid back, all right? I don't have to worry about getting banned for, any maybe wardrobe malfunctions or something like that, right? So so that's why we like kick.com. And normally we go through about half the show and then we move everything to Kick. But we're just going to stay, Russ, we'll just stay on all three platforms tonight. How's that sound? Good. Excellent. So, Mr. Weatherman, Angery American, what's new on your plate? Tell us. Look, let's just get it out of the way right now. How's the new book coming? Let's just get it out of the way so I don't have to keep doing shots every time somebody asks.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not even doing shots tonight on that. We're just, because, you're not in the great state of the Gunshine State right now. You're up there in the Great White North. But, we've got a little tropical storm bearing down on us. So I'm just doing the usual things for that. Test running generators and prepping stuff and, getting water in place and, just doing the things you do in preparation for a storm, making sure I got charged batteries and things like that. And that's about all I'm doing right now. Just
good.
No panic involved on my end. So
gotcha. When's your next appearance? What's the next time anybody can come out and see you?
That'll be Mountain Readiness, because I'm here. I'm not leaving this house until probably September 26th-ish. I've got to be up at Troy's Gate, actually. We have a delegation from the Florida House coming up, as well as a delegation from the North Carolina House coming over. And we will be spending the day there with some politicians, putting them through Troy's Gate, talking about self-defense shootings and what people go through and experience, as well as some other things. Since I'm going to have a bit of a captive audience, Florida is making some noise recently about wanting to bring back TV and movie production to Florida, because Hollywood right now is producing nothing. And what they are producing is garbage nobody wants to watch. So I'm going to make a hard push for the show to get those guys to back it and get behind it. Let's make it happen.
Okay, absolutely. They can certainly get a lot of content in Florida with a lot less headaches from the woke crowd over there on the West Coast. That's for damn sure. So, Chris, just a quick heads up the way I normally do things. I go through, I acknowledge the viewers. Looks like everybody, all the normal people are over there on Kick. Opie's over there. Agnes, Good to see you. Chris, I see you over there. Of course, EA number 1. And Terry. Terry's always on there like a half hour early, and we're always chatting it up. So we got a bunch of good people going on over in Kick. And then Griff's over on Facebook, it looks like. Miss Mel's on Facebook. Homestead Medical. Good. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Again, if you don't know me.
Medical. What's up?
If you don't know me, my name My name is
Sorry.
Pete Robertucci. If you guys don't know, it's fine. If you guys don't know me, I'm Pete Robertucci. I follow Chris around on occasion, and he's kind of taken me every now and then under his wing. So I certainly do appreciate him. So if you get bored,
you're doing awesome, dude. You're doing awesome on your own. Your writing is carrying you.
we're trying,
and
and that's a great. Well, and that's it. He told me, even like the podcast stuff, he goes, you got to start doing this stuff. And I'm like, I don't do podcasts. He's like, no, you got to get out here. This is how you do it. Talk to this person, talk to that person, and make it all happen. So it's starting to work, I guess. And the writing's kind of like doing itself at this point. But when I put out that first book, my butthole was tighter than Dick's hat band, so I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So you certainly helped me out there a lot. So let's hit the news real quick, guys, and we'll keep we'll keep Chris on the screen with us, and let's talk about some of the things that are going on in the news. But first, let's do Troy's Gate. Roll Troy's Gate.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Troy's Gate. It's the best experience you're ever going to have. We're going to do that right after Fallout. So if you haven't put your deposit in for that, guys, please do that. And if you're over on Kick, you'll see the way to do that over there. And maybe I'll go ahead and cut and paste that and put it on the other platform so people can see. That's an amazing experience. And I tell you, that's an eye opener. And for the price point that thing is at, Chris, it's worth every freaking penny.
It's less than a lot of professional trainers charge a day. And as you know, having been there, it's a day of training that'll change the way you look at your training. It will either validate or invalidate what you're doing and show you where you're screwing up in a hurry. Yeah. And I highly recommend, guys, come to that trip. I'll be there, Pete. We're going to be there too.
Perfect.
We're going to be there for the whole thing, man, with you, because I believe that much in Troy's Gate, and that's why we're going up there in September with like I said, some politicians from Florida and North Carolina. We're going to run those guys through it and be talking with them about that, because we're trying to get the laws modified for self-defense shootings so that people understand what you actually go through. That some of the things that you do are involuntary; they weren't conscious decisions that you took. Things like that.
Right. And it gets you in that mindset, and it gets you into that after action, that after shooting. And what were you thinking? What did you see? There's no right or wrong during the experience. It just basically it's an entire learning experience. And it's got real life applications. And we're going to show that with our next clip, but not right yet. But that's going to go on directly after Fallout, the 21st and 22nd. The 21st, we're going to do a hands-on live shoot. Basic pistol, getting you ready for the Troy's Gate experience. A full day with myself, Russ, Chris will be there, and we'll do that for the first day. The second day, guys, we're going to dive right into the Troy's Gate experience. And with what we have the first day, it's going to get your mind ready for what to expect during Troy's Gate. So you won't go in it completely blind. So, but if you can't do both days, please at least show up for the second day at Troy's Gate. And you will not regret that. So we've got a couple spots open for that yet. But let's talk about real world applications, because people say, you do this kind of training, but it doesn't apply to the real world, right? So I wanted to show this next video right after the Troy's Gate commercial for a reason. what you're going to see in this video is a real life Troy's Gate experience. In Hamilton, I don't know if you saw this, in Hamilton, New Jersey, police were involved in a fatal shooting. Approximately, they got a call around 10:07, and they responded to a domestic, Chris. And during the encounter, a 41-year-old male emerged with a long gun. And now, when we watch this, Chris, you tell me if this is not exactly what you're going to see at Troy's Gate. Run one.
Yep.
Charlie, where is he right now?
He's probably in the basement. If you want, I can lead you through. It's not like a bad situation.
I got you.
Yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Oh, shit! Dude, do the fucking gun! Do the fucking just where is he right now?
He's probably.
This is officer number 2's cam.
It's not like a bad situation, but.
Yeah.
There he is.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
So YouTube kind of bleeped out some of the colorful language for the most part. Wow, so that's Hamilton, New Jersey. Cops just walking in. That was a Troy's Gate experience. That's exactly the type of scenario you're going to see. And how are you going to react to it? There was a lot of stuff going on in that video. The guy apparently had a double feed. His buddy got shot, but ultimately he ended up staying in the fight. And I believe both officers are fine. The guy that came out with the long gun, not so much, but he definitely stayed in the fight, which is what Troy's Gate certainly likes to teach, right? So
yeah, but that video right there is a very good reinforcer to practice your malfunctions. Everybody hates doing them. They're no fun. Nobody likes it. But right there's why you do it, because you saw him. He had to look at his gun. He didn't go into an immediate action drill. He's trying to pull a mag out. He's doing all sorts of shit wrong with a double feed malfunction. And I'm not knocking him, because he's the one getting shot at, not me. And he's taking cover behind drywall against a guy with a long gun. All he had was concealment. He didn't have cover. But getting on the range and working those mundane things that everybody hates doing over and over and over and over makes a damn difference. It makes a huge difference. So
perfect. So we'll go, Chris. I just saw your message. We'll go do the rest of the news. If you want to reset, did you need to reset now? Or are you good
right now? I'm good right now. We'll roll with it. So everything's working.
Well, let's keep doing then. Israel's been in the news a lot this week. They've been on top of the news cycle. As a matter of fact, they finally admitted that on July 13th, they killed a Hamas senior military chief, Mohammed Deif. That's one of the masterminds behind the October 7th attack. And there's been some scuttlebutt also that he might have been involved. Well, that was actually a guy in Lebanon, a Hezbollah guy that was involved. They killed him. I don't have the brief on that. They killed him, but he was involved in the barracks attack on the Marines. Israel, Israel cleaned up our mess because we're too weak to go do it. And I mean leadership, not our military, obviously. So they cleaned up our mess and actually got a little bit of payback for those Marines that were killed in Beirut. So they've been on top. So they did take him out. They finally admitted to it. So let's run clip 2.
Jumana, it seems that Israel is once again demonstrating its willingness to risk retaliation after yesterday targeting within a few hours the senior Hamas and Hezbollah leaders and now going after the military chief.
Yeah, that's right. And you raise a very good point about some of the very senior figures that they've taken out just in the last couple of days, Fran. But this, worth pointing out that this attack actually happened on July 13th. So it was some time ago. It is only today that we're getting official confirmation from Israel's military that it has indeed killed Mohammed Deif. That is the second in command, one of the major military leaders for Hamas, but this number 2 in this attack that took place on July the 13th. Of course, this follows after the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh that took place in Tehran yesterday. And so this obviously leads to the broader question of whether taking out Hamas's political leader, its senior military commander, constitutes with Israel's stated goal of eliminating Hamas's military capabilities. And the fact that they have eliminated so many senior commanders within Hamas, and Hezbollah's senior commander, the right-hand man to Hassan Nasrallah, in the matter of days, lends a lot to the view that they have been achieving a lot of their military goals just in the last 48 hours.
Go ahead and cut that off there. Get rid of that. So I'm not going to keep Chris going through these things like we normally do for 4 or 5 minutes. But Israel is expanding. No, I got you. Israel is expanding the war, and rightfully so. Okay, they're constantly getting attacked from the north. They still got a lot of cleanup to do over in Gaza. And I don't know if you guys remember. And Chris, you could talk about this a little bit. The Olympic massacre that happened with the Israeli back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Israel was killing people that were associated with that decades after that. They will not give up. They will not give up.
No. I mean, they're still hunting Nazis down. You know what I'm saying? Like, they still have active cells looking for real Nazis from World War II. They still hunt those guys down. So no, they don't forget.
The latest guy,
they do it. They will actually go out and do it. Is the thing. They will. You don't show them their list. There's only one way off of it. So
they're and that's 100% correct. The latest years back, the way they ended up getting one of the last guys that was behind that Olympic massacre is they knew he was going to visit his mother, and they planted C4 inside of his cell phone at his mother's house. Not right. It wasn't his cell phone. It was her landline phone. They didn't have cell phones. Yeah, so they actually snuck in the terrorist mother's house, planted C4. In the receiver, in the microphone, and blew the guy's face off. So they are not going to forget. The Mossad is they got a long memory and they got long arms, and they are not going to forget. So part of what actually happened in that last newscast was they talked about the political leader that was killed in Tehran. Okay, and that was Ismail Haniyeh. And he was assassinated on Wednesday. It was originally reported that was an airstrike by a drone, potentially. But just yesterday and today, they found out that the Mossad, allegedly, Israel's not taking credit for it yet, planted an explosive device inside where they knew he was going to stay. And they did that 2 months ago in anticipation of him going there. In the middle of Iran, in their capital city, he goes to this funeral or for this inauguration for this Iranian president. Comes back, he thinks he's going to have a good time. Next thing you know, his whole room blows up because they knew he was going to be in there. So it just lends to the intelligence arms of Israel and how far they will go to get retribution. And they are not going to stop. So it's good stuff.
No. And we've got our good buddy Emery, who's involved in some of that. And I've stayed in touch with him. He's not talking much, can't talk much, but he's well. For all those out there wondering, Emery's doing fine. And when he comes back, he'll have some stories to tell. So we'll leave it at that.
Right. So that was Russ. That was the clip I just deleted since we're kind of doubling up on it. But the political arm of Hamas is now dead, and they're all freaking out, Chris, because they're going. That was their lead negotiator. There is no negotiation. Here's the negotiation. No. Hamas drops their arms, they give up, and they die, and they get all the hostages back. That's the negotiations. Okay, that's the way it's going to work. And then no matter what the rest of the world says, Israel has the right to do that. So
well, at this point, what Israel's done to Hamas, it's going to be a decade or two before they get even close to the kind of reach that they had leading up to the October surprise. Israel really has I watched the detonation of a 4-mile long tunnel the other day where the Israelis went in and planted explosives in it and dropped 4 miles of tunnel at one time. They are not playing around this time. It's all coming out. And hats off to them. It needed to be done, and they're doing it, They're doing
and the thing of it is, Netanyahu said on the onset, we are changing the geography of the Middle East. after this attack. It's going to change forever. And there's no doubt in my mind that he is certainly going to continue on as long as his populace allows him to do that, because they're already worried about, it's funny because you got the Jewish people that have the different sects, right? And you got now he's saying there was one that was immune to being drafted for their service, but he says, listen, we need manpower, so we're bringing in all you guys. So he's not gonna quit, and he's right, the landscape is changing, and depending on what happens in November, Iran needs to be shitting their pants right now, okay, because
they probably are very nervous. They said they're going to retaliate. They vowed to retaliate against Israel for the hit in Iran in Tehran the other day. But what are they going to do again? Launch another bunch of ballistic missiles into the desert that don't hit shit, and wave their hands and say that they retaliated?
Yeah, then that's just to appease their populace. They don't want to hit Israel. They're afraid to death of Israel really going after them. So, we'll see how all that plays out. Guys, we're going to do something different this week, and it came to me from a comedian that we went and saw the other night named Charlie Barons. So I know I always do all these political rants. I give you political news. I get it. Everyone gets tired of hearing about it. So we're going to do something a little bit different tonight. We're going to do something I'm calling Eden Extras. And those are those news stories that make you go, what the hell? Is that really news? Did that really happen? And we'll put our particular spin on this. Let's roll clip 4, Russ.
Hey, it's me, the D-O-double-G. In this week's Eden Extra, King Charles bestowed a royal title on a rare goat breed. Arabs all around the world are applauding this, saying, and I quote, God is good. Now all of our people will have a chance to sleep with royalty. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Eden Extra.
So I didn't make the story up. I didn't make it up. I took a little bit of professional liberty and added a little bit of stuff to it. But apparently the king has went ahead and made royalty out of a specific breed of goats, and man, they're really happy. Those Arabs are really happy.
Did you see the video that came out a week or two ago, maybe now? It was the goat beauty pageant. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
I don't know where it was. I didn't read it. I just saw the video and laughed my ass off. It just this breed of goats over there where they're breeding them to have these asses that look like a woman's ass. I mean, and that was the angle that you were viewing. You weren't looking at the goat's face. All these goats are staying up their asses facing the crowd, and it was a beauty pageant for this particular breed of goat. And I was like, I bet it's a beauty pageant. It looks more like a brothel to me.
And you know how I am about these podcasts and stuff. I'm so anal about them, and I spend 3 days in the bathroom just getting ready for them because I hate being in front of the camera. But when I saw stuff like this, it kind of give it a little levity to it. So I kind of dug that. We do have another Eden Extra, Russ and Chris. That's going to be from the great state of Wisconsin, and from a city made famous by that patriot, Kyle Rittenhouse. So we have something that was actually a public service announcement from the city to help fill potholes. Let's run 5.
Do you have a hole that needs to be filled? The city of Kenosha takes public safety very seriously, which is why we're excited to launch our new hashtag Show Us Your Hole public safety initiative. To participate, simply send us a picture of your hole along with its location and the tagline, "Come fill my hole," and we will dispatch our crews to service your hole in a prompt and professional manner. Your satisfaction is our priority.
You just can't make this shit up.
I can just see some bored ass dude in the city of Kenosha roads department who they tell him they're going to start this new thing. They're like, you need to put out a tweet about it. He's like, oh yeah, I got this. Yeah, okay, no problem. We're gonna a pothole fill. Yeah, I got it. We'll get the holes filled. We'll fill all the holes. I'll find out where all the holes are, and we'll get all the holes filled. And they're all going, yeah, that's what we want to do. He's like, got on it. Yes, I got it. Yeah. That
So
would be me.
it's-
That's what I would have done.
Of course, why not have some fun in your civil service job and do some stuff like that?
Oh my
I don't
God, that's
know
hilarious.
who writes that stuff, and if they don't read it, but I can guarantee, knowing the how funny these people are in Wisconsin, they probably did it as a joke, but it was pretty damn funny. And I thank Charlie Barron's for that idea, because he actually did that the other night. And
I would like to see the collage of pictures they're getting.
Oh, all you have to do, just look for that on Facebook and look at all the comments that they have.
Oh my God, that is so good. That is hilarious.
So that, guys, is all the news that is the news for tonight. I don't want to bore you with too much, you guys. And I didn't even touch on NEPAD vice president or the vegetable that's sitting in the White House. We didn't even talk about them today. Normally I go on a half-hour rant about that, but I'm not going to do it tonight, I promise, because that's what tonight is about. Tonight is about a guy that works behind the scenes all the time, and he does it regardless of who asks. And he keeps me on track, keeps me out of trouble for the most part. And that is our good friend, Russ Sawyer. Russ, come on up, buddy. Let me bring you in here.
Russ has got the hardest job in the world. That's trying to keep me on track. That's the hardest job for anybody, hands down.
Yeah,
it is.
So
a full-time job.
For you guys that don't know, today is Russ's birthday, and he's up here in the North Woods of Wisconsin enjoying some nice weather. So he actually did a cross country trip and ended up throwing his camper out in the North 40 riding shack for a little bit. So Russ and Teresa are here, and we're happy to have them here. But we're hoping that today is a good. I didn't mean to make you work today, Russ. I tried to change it for you, but you said nope. You're happy doing this.
He called me today, and I'm like, dude, it's your birthday. Stop. It's your birthday. You don't need to be worried about my shit today. But that's Russ. Russ is he's always on. I'll tell you guys that Russ is always on. So
he is always on. So Russ, tell us about your day today. What did you think of the first real day in the North Woods of Wisconsin? We took you on a little road trip, but not much. Tell us about your first day up here in the North Woods.
It was a damn sight cooler than Fort Sill, Oklahoma, with no wind, which I really enjoyed. When we left Fort Sill, it was 103 at 10 o'clock in the morning. It hit 88 here today, and I took several naps, went to a meat market, and spent way too much money, but I'm going to enjoy every piece of meat out of this thing. It is a phenomenal meat market, Chris.
Shit.
One of the best I've ever been to. We had homemade Wisconsin brats for supper tonight. We picked up a brisket that I'm going to smoke on Monday, and I think we're doing tomahawk ribeyes on Sunday, right, Pete?
Sunday, yep, we're going to do that. They weigh about 4 or 5 pounds a piece. So maybe we'll go live and we'll have the meat sweats.
What does it cost up there? Because I buy them here, I know what it costs me.
Everything's expensive thanks to Bidenomics, but they were about $20 a pound.
Yeah, that's about right. Okay, that's about what I'm paying down here. Okay.
But
Bidenomics, there's
all local stuff. So that's kind of what we did.
That's even better. Yeah, I like that.
So I picked up a bottle of bourbon today, and it's quasi Eden Army. It is called Oak and Eden.
Oh, that's good whiskey. I've had that.
It is.
It's got the oak corkscrew in the bottle.
Whiskey.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I got one laying around here. It's empty, laying around here somewhere. So
yeah, it is very good. And we are drinking it out of Pete's birthday present. I don't know if you can make it out.
Nice.
Kind of hard to see over this, but
nice.
Engraved Eden Army. Oh, and that reminds me too. Stalker Mom sent us up. I have nicknames for everybody, Chris. Stalker Mom sent Chris. He sent this thing here. Let me lift it up real quick. Sent this guy here up to the North 40. And I'm like, cool. Ammunition, right? But apparently, the world knows that I'm an alcoholic. So
it only gets worse. Trust me.
I know, and it's basically a whole set of cocktail glasses, bullet ice cubes that you can put in the fridge, and then slate coasters. So thank you, Stalker Mom, if you're out there in the world. I appreciate it, and we will certainly be using that within the next couple of weeks for sure. And probably tomorrow night, to be honest.
And Pete, and Pete and Melissa, a smoking kit for my birthday.
Nice.
And I'm going to be playing with it here shortly. I have a bottle of Woodford in the cabinet over here that's not double oak, but it will be when we're done with it.
So it's actually one to smoke the drinks. You can actually infuse the drinks with smoke. So, yeah, we're going to try that out here in a little bit.
Smoked old-fashioned is really cool.
That's what I was thinking.
So next Friday night, Russ, we'll go to the place, Fish Fry, in a place called Spooner, and I'll give you the best smoked old-fashioned you've ever had in your life there. Ooh. I promise you that. It's going to be amazing. Good stuff. Look.
So Egghead's asking you a question there, Pete. Soon, Egghead. Let me pop it up on the screen here.
Okay.
I can multitask. So Egghead's asking, so did I see your books are on Audible now?
Not yet. That we did settle on a narrator. He's been uploading to Audible. And I'm so damn anal, as you guys know, that I'm critiquing his stuff and getting them squared away. But we had 64 auditions, and I narrowed it down to 10. I made him do a second audition, and I finally picked a fella who's never done Audible before, like me. Then I've never written before, so I'm bringing somebody up with me who's relatively unknown in the business. And he's doing a really good job. So I'm kind of going through the chapters he's put up already, make sure they're up to your guys' standards, not so much mine. And it's happening. So we hope to have the first one out by Fallout. And then he'll roll right into the second one. We'll do all 3 of the Eden series on Audible. And then we're just about wrapping up book 1 of the new series. So things are happening. Apparently, Chris, you didn't tell me, it's fun writing. I love it. I enjoy it. But you didn't tell me it was this much work. Right?
It can be tons of work, man. Yeah. I'm lucky, though, because for my audio, all I do is send the manuscript away, and I've got an audiobook publisher that handles the whole shooting match, so I don't have to do none of that hard legwork. I just got lucky in that regard. So I know some of the tribulations you're going through, but I only had like 4 narrators that I had to do auditions for and pick Duke like immediately. He was like I think the second guy I listened to, and I was just like, yeah, I don't need to hear nobody else really. This guy's it. And
and that's what I told my audience. I go, look, guys, we all love Kevin Pierce, we all love Duke Fontaine. So when you hear a new guy, you're going to be like, I don't like this guy so much. But I went through the whole, I love Duke Fontaine, and then I heard Kevin Pierce for the first time, and I'm like, I don't like this guy. But guess what? Kevin Pierce is one of the best in the business, right? So that's what I want you guys to bear in mind when you hear our new guy, because he is. It's funny, Chris, because I asked him. I'm got him on an interview. I'm on the phone with him, trying to be all professional, and I go, so Chris. You ever done anything on Audible before? And a long pause. I don't get nothing. So I think I lost connection. I go, Chris. He goes, well, I took a master class a couple weeks ago. I kind of scratched my face and I go, you're my guy. You're my guy. You're in.
I love it. That's fantastic. And like you said, you're bringing a new voice, which I love, because like Kevin Pierce asked me one time, he's like, when are you going to let me narrate one of your books? And I said, never. He just kind of looked at me. I'm like, dude, you can't do all of them. I know you want to be the voice of the apocalypse. I get that. I said, but we got to give other folks a chance, dude. I'm like, besides, you don't need my books. You're doing everybody else's books.
Right,
so, I mean,
exactly.
It's not like Franklin hasn't bought them like Kevin's 3rd and 4th vacation homes.
Oh yeah, probably at least at the minimum.
Yeah, and so Christy over in Kick Chat has a question. It's kind of a feel-good question, so we'll put this up on the screen here. She says, "What about the dude from Turkey in the Olympics?" I'm feeling this guy. I mean, he's part like me.
I love this guy.
Divorced, and they're done that, and he's just in there shooting and just having fun. And says, "I want my dog back." I love
it. Yeah. And let me tell you, what a prime example that you don't need Gucci gun shit. Right?
Yeah.
this guy basically got a Mark IV 22 that he's shooting with, and then he's going up against these millennials that are doing weird. They got weird shit on their eyes, and and he ends up getting what did he get? The silver, right, Russ?
Yeah, he got silver.
Yeah. So love it. Yeah. Let's see what we got going on.
And walks out in blue jeans and a t-shirt. Everybody else has got their shooting outfits on, and
blue jeans
it's so good fun. That's the best part of it to me.
Nothing. He's just pow. That's fucking classic.
Yeah, let's see. Patrick says, Chris Weatherman, you ever messing around with thermal?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, turn around and see your reflection in the window.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't done that. I have used my thermals for some interesting stuff as far as tracking. People don't realize how long footprints will actually remain visible on the ground after someone's crossed. And at night, it's pretty handy for that. And you can surprise the shit out of some folks when they don't think you can see where they're going, and you can see exactly where they went. They don't last long, so you kind of got to look and get a quick track and run that direction. But yeah, thermal's a lot of fun. I highly recommend thermal and night vision. You need both, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good point. We use thermal a lot. For those of you that don't know, as a firefighter in my past life, but we use thermal a lot. And Chris, you're 100% right. I could track a child going to hide in a closet by her handprints and footprints during the structure fire and get them out. And so we did a lot of training like that. And they actually those footprints, if they're not wearing shoes, stay for quite some time. Now I haven't gone to the thermal aspect of shooting and stuff like that yet, because most of my fans know, but your people probably don't know, Chris, that I'm a cheap ass, real cheap. That's what Melissa says. I think I'm frugal. She says I'm a cheap ass. I don't know, but we'll see. Someday, maybe.
It's only Federal Reserve notes. They're not worth shit, so I like to turn them into commodities as fast as I can.
I like I like that concept a little bit. But you and Melissa, my wife, are on the same page, obviously, because she's trying to spend it more than Jeff Bezos is paying me every month. So it's interesting. So again, for you guys that don't know and you're watching over on Chris's channels, my name is Pete Robertucci. I scribbled a couple of books, and this is our podcast. We do it on Friday nights. We're thinking about moving to Thursday nights just because we're missing all the Friday night fish fries up here. So we're thinking of moving it to Thursday nights, and our primary platform for doing that is kick.com, and I'll put a link up for you guys in case you're busy and you're not doing nothing else.
For those of you guys that are here off of my channels, like just today, somebody asked me, like, who else do you recommend in the genre besides myself? And I immediately just said Peter Robertucci and Franklin Horton, because those are the two guys I'm going to throw out before anybody else. And there's other great writers out there, guys, but these just are two guys who are good friends of mine. I was kind of there when Franklin got started. We met right with his first book. And was there with you from the beginning of yours. And it's awesome seeing it come up. So I'm always tossing y'all's names out there to support you, because that's what we do. The rising tide lifts all ships. So
yeah, and this genre in particular, everybody's just so welcome in this genre. I've gotten so much advice from Franklin, but I will say, guys, yes, he does recommend buy my book so he can have time to write. Chris can have time to write his books, but This is Chris and Franklin, all right. They're up here in the genre. I'm treading water, so don't think you're gonna get the same quality product as you would get from these guys. I'm treading water, but I will say, from book 1 to book 3, I've actually started to take it a little bit seriously, and they're getting much better. So. So when you read book one, don't just throw it in the fire. read book 2 because it gets better. I promise.
Oh, trust me, if all these guys got through my first edition of Going Home and continued with the series, you got nothing to worry about, dude. If you saw the first edition of Going Home, Pete, you would piss yourself laughing just by trying to read it. It was so bad.
And that was the first published edition, not the one that was on the internet. That was
not the one that was on the internet. No, that was way worse. I was usually having the back when I was writing that stuff. It was fun. It was loads of fun. It was great.
Oh yeah, we had a ball.
Well, that's what I told my editor, Katie. I go, look, I'm gonna go back and I want to redo book 1. And she looks at me. We're on a Zoom meeting. She looks at me and goes, "Shut up! You're not doing that. Keep writing new books." And I go, "Yeah, but I want to go revisit book 1." And she goes, "No, I told you to shut up. You're not doing that. Write another book." And I go, like I do with all women. I go, "Yes, ma'am," and I just do my thing. So.
Well, and speaking of new books, the new book that Pete is currently working on is really, really good so far.
Yeah, so the new book is going to be a spin-off of this of the Eden series, but it's not going to be. It's going to be a guy that's really not a prepper, just a guy that's got to come up here and take care of some business and gets thrust into it. He's not a prepper, and he's having a hard time fitting in. Let's just say that. But I think there's a spot for that. You know, everybody's not Navy SEALs.
It's funny. The book I'm working on right now is the same thing, except my guy's roaring alcohol.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And Franklin has a book like that. It's a Way of Dan series, and it's one of my favorite series for Franklin because it's just like a normal dude, right? And he just wants to sit there and drink and be left alone. And ultimately, in this preparedness business, that's all we really want. Just leave us the hell alone. Leave us alone.
Let us be.
Yeah.
Let us be.
So, and that's what I say in book 1. Look, the whole damn city of Daytona Beach can burn down. Just don't bring them onto my 10 acres. I don't care.
Yeah.
Have at it. Have at it.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're getting a lot of. Oh, Chris is. Let's see. Opie wants to know when the next Cry Havoc is coming.
Will wants to know if you're working on Rambling Man 13 and the other book all at once.
So I'm working on several projects right now. And so I also recently learned to start telling people no. I'm saying no to a lot of stuff so that I can have more time at my keyboard. I canceled a bunch of events and stuff because it was interfering too much in the writing. I was trying to always be out there where, I can hang out with people and interact, do the events, be around, but it was really impacting my writing time. So I've cut all that back to give me more time behind the keyboard. We'll still be out doing stuff, but the books are the top priority, and I'm treating them as such. So,
and that's kind of what everyone's telling me. They're like, "Look, you're making money on your books. Write books.
Yeah.
Write books.
Write books." Exactly.
That's where no one's tuning into Pete's podcast because he, goes out and does videos on cutting his grass. They're tuning in because I write a book. So, that's kind of where we're at in that.
Patrick Seven has a comment for Chris. I'll pop it up here on the screen.
Yeah, I see him there. Talking about looking at his footprints. Oh yeah.
That anecdote, I never thought to look at the residual heat from footprints. Now I'm walking around my apartment looking at my footprints. Well, and Patrick, lay down on the floor for a minute. Lay down and assume like a prone shooting position and lay there for 30 seconds or whatever. Then get up and then take a quick peek with your thermal, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And then for all you guys talking thermals and getting in thermals and all that junk, you need to start looking at thermal mitigation once you do to hide from this stuff. Because once you see the value of it, you can understand how if you ain't got it, the other guy does, you don't stand a chance. But if the other guy's got it and you do understand how to mitigate it, you can increase your chances a whole lot. So absolutely.
Yeah, and they've got portable drones right now that are equipped with thermal. They're equipped with night vision, and they're relatively affordable. And so if I'm surveying a spot, guess what? I'm putting that dude up. I'm looking around because I know no one's going to know how to mitigate that thermal signature, right? So give you an idea of what's going on someplace before you go into it, if it ever came to that kind of thing.
And The event, unfortunately, Chris had to cancel out of the event up in Montana with Joe Dolio and all the guys from Future Conflict, NC Scout. That is this weekend, guys. If you're up in Big Fork, Montana,
I want to be there so bad.
Days. But if you're up that way, give them a shout out. Head up there and check them out.
Yeah. I wanted to get up there, but that just isn't working out.
So you're just going to hang out at the house till September, kind of enjoy your free time with Mama. And
I'm going to enjoy my time writing. I'm here concentrating on writing. I've got a plan. I'm going to hold myself accountable, and I'm going to get it done. So, I mean, I wrote Going Home. You guys can remember, I wrote my first book in 90 days, working a full-time job.
Oh, jeez.
At that rate, I should be cranking them out, but I've been spending too much other time doing other shit. I'm putting all the other shit aside. It's off the table for now. So
yeah. Well, what you've taught me is there's a lot more to this whole thing than just writing. Like we said earlier, the podcast and the events and stuff like that. But like everyone's also telling me is nobody knows you if you're not writing. So
that's right.
Yeah, it's a balancing act. Because I didn't even want to leave the house, Chris. I didn't want you and Russ were like, you got to come to this, you got to do this. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
We had to beat you in mountain readiness. We had to almost drag you kicking and screaming in mountain readiness. But then once you got there, they were like, I get it now. I get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not to mention Hinman, but we will apologize for that one. We'll apologize for that one.
You bastards almost got me killed in Hinman. I don't want to hear it. I was friggin' in a field with a tornado over my head in a tent.
Yeah,
when I came out,
but here's the deal: you weren't a bushcrafter, and you survived.
That was the funniest thing. I come out there the next morning, and I'm surveying the carnage of this bushcraft camp, and some of the people are kind of lamenting and moaning a little bit, and I was just like, "Fuck them! They're survivalists." I'm like, you guys are here. You're supposed to deal with it. All right, this sucks. Well, now what? Now, all right, this is a prime example of why we do the things we do. It really happened. Now, how are you fixing it? You're packing your shit up and going to the house. Oh, that's how you fix it? Okay. Right. So that lets me know that these people aren't serious, and they don't take this serious. I've done this shit for real in serious real-world conditions where there was no, I'm going to go home right this second. I'm mad. I'm going to take my ball and leave. And it gives you an entirely different perspective on things. So,
Well, I went that morning, and of course I was up to crack of dawn because I was up all night, but I had to go in the field on the other side of my tent and get all my cooking gear because it had flown over my tent along with the table. And I'm getting it all together, and I'm brewing a pot of coffee, and I'm walking around looking at all these guys, and I'm thinking, I wasn't thinking to myself. I said it to a few of them. I go, you guys are the worst survivalists ever. You're the worst. It's the worst survivalist ever. I go, and some of you are instructors. Get out. Just fucking leave. Get out of here.
Yep. Yep.
But it was a good time. Yeah, but I came in that morning. My hair was all. I was just drenched, and I'm like,
I wake up, and there's a message on the phone from Pete, and it's like, well, that was interesting. We had a tornado. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, we're like, we didn't notice. We were down in a holler on a river about 30 miles away, probably, I guess, 25 miles away. Yeah, we didn't notice shit. We didn't.
It was funny because I'm laying in my tent. I'm roughing it, and the wind starts about 3 a.m. And it's just I'm just waiting for my tent to just go. And I'm laying there and it was cold as shit. I'm laying there in my sleeping bag, and I go, I guess this is how I die in a fucking field in Kentucky. I guess this is how I rate how much of a badass we are. I'm a firearms instructor. I've been through some shit. I guess I die in a shitty field in Kentucky, where nobody's probably even reading books. I go.
Yeah, we did severely underestimate the reading level of Hinman, Kentucky. We absolutely did.
Yes. Yes, we did. Oh my goodness.
Good God.
Yeah. We'll put the 0 out of 0. We'll do not recommend on that one. Wow.
Yeah. I don't ever need to go back. That place was. I mean, granted, it was wintertime, fall, whatever you want to call it, and the trees were bare, but it was just depressing as shit to me up there. The never really being able to see the horizon much because of all the mountains, and you're always driving through the hollers, and You know, and I'm a flatlander. I'm born and raised in Florida, but I like the mountains. But I don't like that closed-in feel of like you're just, you know, you can see 100 yards and then it's just more dirt, and you got to look like up like this to even see the damn sky. It kind of.
And I tell you, Chris, that first road that we took up the first day, I'll bet you there wasn't a full set of teeth on that whole road.
Oh no! There wasn't a full road there. There was entire chunks of asphalt missing,
exactly.
Like guardrail and everything. Asphalt 3 feet into the road, just fucking gone. And they spray painted orange spray paint around it.
Yeah, you could not have paid me to drive a dually up there, much less my camper up there.
I was just like, thank God that Google Maps didn't try to bring us this direction. You know, with the campers and stuff. It's for us found the perfect spot to get to. It was a great little campground. It was basically empty. And it was perfect for us. But yeah, that was, I'm not going back to Hinman, Kentucky. Scratch that off the map. Sorry.
I mean, I may end up there if I'm doing something else and I got nothing to do for a weekend. Who knows? It was, but it was an experience. Look, I gotta learn this stuff. Really, you taught me, Chris. You got to go out there and do it to learn what works for you and what doesn't. And
you got to do it so you learn what never to do again. Hinman, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And my thought process early on in my career is, look, if I could just make my money back on the trip, I'm happy because I'm getting a little bit of, I'm getting to talk to people. If I could do that, but yeah, maybe not Hinman again. They can have that.
And that's how I've always looked at the events. As long as I break even, I don't care. You know, if I can break even, awesome. That's all I'm looking to do.
Yeah.
So we have Pete's Eden Army Eden Return to Eden 2.0 coming up in February. And then, Chris, I think we're trying to do a mountain readiness something or another in January, February in Florida.
We're exploring the options. Right now, venue is the problem we're having. Every place that we've checked and gone to look at isn't quite right, or they're booked if they're perfect. And but I reached out to some people today that know a hell of a lot more landowners in this state than I do. So they're on the job now helping us because I told them what we want to bring to the state. And this is some Florida politicians I asked for help. Told them we want to bring to the state, and they're all about it. They're like, yeah, all right, we're going to help you find a place. We're going to try to make this happen. Because there are no events in Florida anymore. There's no prepper events. There used to be one in Lakeland. You know, every now and then there was one in South Florida. There's one in Jacksonville many years ago that was infamous for me and Steve Bird, Franklin Wharton. But there are no more. No one does them down here.
Well, and I've never met Stephen Bird, but that's a guy I want to sit down and have a bourbon with.
He's a great guy. Guy.
I follow him on Facebook, and I think me and him think a lot alike. And I do have a drink with him one day, that's for sure.
Yeah, Chris, wasn't he at Heritage Life Schools that year?
Yeah, he was probably there. He's a private pilot.
I think I met him. I think I met him.
Some of his stories are fantastic. You know, I mean, some of his stories are just waking up in the trunk of a car. You know, I mean, just he's got some awesome stories.
We've all done that. We've all done that.
Oh my gosh!
I'm just reading.
Good times. I mean, that's why when you go hang out, you get to hang out with everybody and I mean, the events are the events, and the training is fantastic. You go there, but for me, it's always the after hours where people can sit down and you get to talk to people, people that read your books or people that you've never got to meet before, but that read your books, and you get to hang around the fire and the camaraderie and just the fellowship of everybody cooking together, eating together, and having a few drinks and sitting around. It's just the greatest thing to me. That's what I enjoy about it.
Yeah, and I normally don't like people. I'll be honest with you guys. I pretty much stay in the woods. Me, my wife, my dogs. But going to these events, and I remember the first event over there in Mountain Readiness, someone came up to me and goes, "I just drove 300 miles just to have you sign my book," and I was like, "What? What's wrong with you?" And but the feeling that I got, I'm like, "Wow, this is different. This is different." Because I spent my entire life staying away from cameras and kind of doing things in the dark. But when someone does that, when someone says that to you, you're like, okay, now I gotta start taking this a little more seriously. And that's why T was giving me a hard time. I never want to leave my table because I want to be there to shake everybody's hands. But he goes, "You're an instructor. I need go instruct."
Go instruct.
Yeah, put a thing on your thing. Say I'll be back in an hour. I'm instructing a pistol class over at Mountain Red. So I'm slowly starting to evolve a little bit, Chris. Even though I know I've been fighting you guys about it constantly, but I kind of get it.
It's all right. That's all right. And I want to give a quick little update to folks that have been following the Canine Reaper thing and all. And he was having a problem getting his visa. He's been denied by the U.S. Embassy 4 times in South Africa with no explanation whatsoever. So I've reached out for some congressional help, and it's looking like we're going to be able to get his visa for him now.
Wow.
Just waiting on the resolution of this. I had to reach out and get some help from the lovely Kat Kamek. She's an awesome person, love her to death, and her team is presently at work getting his visa approved because there's no reason to deny it whatsoever. We provided all the documentation and everything that they've requested and then some, and they're still giving us a hard time. But I think now we'll get him approved and we're going to be good to go. So
cool.
Perfect.
Well, I got a couple of comments off of Kick there, Pete. Corey's talking about he's going because Mrs. Gnome and the Gnomettes will not be coming because they stuff they got to take care of. But he says he's going to try and get the Forerunner set up to SUV camp. If not, I'll be in a tent. Doesn't make sense to get a trailer for just me. To which Kelly Mercer responds, and I'll just leave that up there for a minute.
Don't take lessons from Will.
So Will, I'm sorry, but we're gonna put you on blast for a minute. And the only reason we do that is because we love you. So Will's a great buddy of ours. He comes to a lot of events, and he's really one of those guys that has your back, right? But he came to Last Mountain Readiness, and he decides, because he's a preparedness guy, right? He's going to come. He's going to sleep in the back of his truck. He's going to put up a nice tarp. He's going to get it all going. It's going to be nice and comfy. But a storm came through. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen videos like from Haiti after a hurricane goes through. The shanties that have like blue tarps all over them. Well, that's how Will ended up. That's how his mountain readiness ended. So I think that Will, that's a lesson learned for you. Just like when we did Eden Get Together 1.0, everybody knows now how to deal with ticks, right?
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Stay in a camper.
So. But the good news is people came from all over the country to go to that little event, and most of the ticks that were in my field went home with you guys. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
Fantastic. Permethrin is your friend, folks. Permethrin is your friend.
Yeah. And Opie says he never saw a tick.
Yeah, because he was set up in the right spot. He was right there where the chickens used to be. Where the chickens, so the guy knows what he's doing.
And
this is a good point.
He was by himself. He wasn't trying to have any privacy. Christian guy.
Yeah. So Patrick came up with a good point. He goes, rent a U-Haul, sleep in the back of the damn thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Why not? Especially that time of year for Fallout. It's going to be nice and cool.
Throw a cot down in that thing, and then that'd be perfect. Rent a U-Haul truck. Hell yeah.
And what do you get? Those $19 a day or something like that. So good deal. Well, guys, we've been going for an hour. I'm going to leave. Chris, you give us some parting words, Mr. Chris, and then we'll go over to Russ.
Well, guys, just keep doing your things. For those Floridians out there, we've got a little storm bearing down. I'm waiting to watch the ensuing chaos that always comes with these things. I was out today doing a little looking around and was noticing there really wasn't any rush for anything yet. Gas cans are still on shelves and stuff like that. Things are usually gone real quick. But, if you've got all those things, you don't have to go buy all those things. So, keep your stuff together, stay organized, and go ahead and start testing stuff now. You don't want to drag the generator out of the shed the day after the storm passes only to find out that your carburetors are clogged up and won't run. So, test your equipment. And like my good buddy Alan Kay always says, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Good point. Well, Chris, Angery American, Weatherman. I sure do love you, brother. I love everything you've done for me. I love hanging out with you.
Oh yeah, man.
And I can't wait to get you up here in the Northwoods, and we'll really raise some
we'll
hell up
come.
here.
We'll get up there. I'm gonna come up one time. We'll get Russ and Teresa up there too. We'll all come up and hang out, and we're trying to get the Hummer trucked up, or excuse me, the Humvee trucked up to Mountain Readiness. We got some friends that do hot shot deliveries, and they want to come to Mountain Readiness. And I was like, perfect. I'll get you in and take care of you if you'll just bring the Hummer on your trailer. I'll even pay for your fuel so we can have it there. So we're trying to get that brought up.
Good
but
idea.
I just want to end on a happy birthday, Russ. Love you, brother. And thanks for everything you do. It's a thankless and relentless job. I know, following me around and trying to keep me pointed in the right direction. But I genuinely do appreciate everything you guys do for me. So we really do.
And Russ, what do you got to leave us with, brother?
Well, man, the outpouring on Facebook, all the comments, guys, thank you. I get to hang out with two of my best friends for tonight for my birthday. What can else?
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Ask for it. Thank you guys for all the comments. And let's go fishing. We're going to fish tomorrow. So, yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm going to catch the damn fish, man. Shit, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to catch a bunch of fish tomorrow. So Lala can have a fish fry. And then we'll go next week so we can have a fish fry.
Yep, so we're going to fish with Lala. Lala's going to be, we're going to be on his boat. So here's the thing of Lala. If you guys have read any of my books, especially the last one, Lala's got an interesting clock when it comes to fishing. We could be in the middle of catching, just throw the thing in and you bring a fish in. Throw it in, bring it. I mean, just as soon as the bobber hits the water, right? You're bringing a fish in. But it's Lala says it's on like Donkey Kong. But when Lala runs out of beer, I don't care what kind of fish you're catching. I don't care if you caught the world record fucking bass. We're going in. And we're going in fast. So Lala over there on Kick, busting chops. So yeah.
So I have one more shout out. Number one to my lovely bride, Teresa. She keeps me straight, keeps me taken care of. And thank you, Melissa. I don't know if you guys can see it because my lighting sucks tonight. Melissa got me a little happy birthday sign up here. So
dig it.
It is what it is. Teresa was in here putting it up. I'm like, what is that? And I look around. I'm like, really? And she's like, Melissa's making me do it. She said, Melissa did it. You don't blame me. So,
yeah.
But it is what it is. I've had a great birthday. Thank you.
Good. Chris, if you remember, Chris, give me a shout tomorrow. And you had something to talk to me about. Give me a shout.
It's nothing important, dude. It's nothing important. Okay. We'll get it. Might even be next week. It's just I want to ask you a couple questions about some stuff you're doing because I'm looking at making a change on something and to speed my process up because we'll talk about it on the phone. I got the person. I got the person you need to talk to. Good. That's
all right.
You know what I want. So.
Yep, I do. Okay. All right, Chris. Well, thanks, brother. Russ, thank you. I'll see you at the campfire in a couple seconds, Russ. And I'm going to go ahead and go full screen with me, and I'll give the parting words for the evening.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, guys. Love you. All right, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I know it was kind of a short show tonight, kind of a Russ Sawyer special occasion. So again, my name is Pete Robertucci. If you're not catching me, if you're on Chris's stuff, you're not catching me, I put up a couple of links. So I'd appreciate if you would follow. That'd be kind of cool. We do this every Friday or Thursday night. We go through some current events, and then we occasionally have some industry experts on the show. But normally it's just me ranting and raving for the most part. So, but it's pretty damn entertaining. So with that being said, be safe out there, everyone, especially you people down there in Florida that's going to get this tropical storm. But if you can't be safe, be dangerous.